for joining us on this edition of National Focus. I'm Tasia Floissac. Coming up, we'll bring you a special report on the voting process. Eastern Caribbean Central Bank launches primary schools financial challenge, and Dominica to observe International Day to end violence against women. Stay tuned for details of these and other stories after this.
A lot of bathtubs are blamed for bruises. Some staircases are accused of being responsible for broken bones. Doors are occasionally viewed suspiciously as causing lesions. A high percentage of tables are accused of producing bleeding or trauma. Violence against women is a crime, and it's everyone's responsibility. It's inexcusable. If you're a victim or witness of physical or psychological violence or abuse, seek help and denounce the perpetrator.
Thanks for staying with us. With Election Day now 14 days away, voters, especially new ones, ought to know what to expect when they enter the booth. Here's a special report. In Dominica's electoral system, registered voters must go to the polls every 5 years to elect a new government. This process requires the use of secure boxes to confidentially host these ballot slips or votes. These boxes are called ballot boxes, and effective this year's elections, a new type of ballot box is being introduced. This is to ensure a higher level of security and accountability in the voting process. I'm Jana Hector, and this concerns you, so stay with me as we take an inside look. These boxes are of top industry standards at this time and are used all over the world. A highlight is their added security. Let's get closer. These translucent boxes feature 3 seals with serial numbers and 2 locks, in addition to 2 signed paper seals for maximum security and accountability at every level. Okay, so we've been introduced to the new ballot boxes. Let's now look at how this concerns you when you enter the voting booth. This is a blown-up ballot paper sample. The presiding officer will fill in these blanks: your voter registration number and his initials. The consecutive number and polling date would have already been printed on the ballot paper. The names of the candidates are listed alphabetically on the left side of the ballot paper, with their symbols on the right side of their names. When you enter the room, you will find 3 election officials as well as candidates' agents who will ensure balance and fairness at each polling station.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you please state your name and address clearly?
Donald Langford, foot your polling.
Okay. 000-23854.
Okay, Mr. Langford, I want to first instruct you that before I give you your ballot paper, you're supposed to ink. And while you're inking, I will instruct you as to the procedure.
The election officials will confirm your registration and retrieve your voter registration number from the list.
Now we have 3 candidates on this ballot form. Bishop Conrad D., whose symbol is the bicycle, O'Neill Francis, whose symbol is the boat, and Robinson George, whose symbol is the car. You are to mark your cross by any of the candidates on this ballot form for whom you desire to vote. A cross by any of the candidates: Bishop Conrad D., the bicycle, O'Neill Francis, the boat, and Robinson George, the car. You're going to take the ballot paper and go across. There is a pencil where you mark your cross, and you bring back the ballot to me the same way that I gave it to you folded.
You will be instructed to dip your thumb in a bottle containing indelible ink prior to receiving a ballot paper to indicate that you have voted at this election. Now, you the voter only have one job: to make your X as neat and clear as you can without touching the lines. It is especially important that you do not mark your cross beyond the lines. When that is done, the top part of the ballot paper with the polling information is torn off, and the bottom half with just the part that was marked remains folded and is then placed in the ballot box. There, now you've done your civic duty.
That was Jana Hector with that report. Meanwhile, addressing the issue and the world phenomenon of child abuse, the Honorable Minister for Social Services, Gender Affairs and Community Development, Gloria Shillingford, believes that it is impossible to totally mend a broken child, thus impossible to build strong nations with broken youth. She expressed this view in her address to the nation on Universal Children's Day.
Victims of child abuse usually end up as burdens and even worse, plagues to society, for their scars might not only cause them to be underproductive, but might perpetuate a cycle of violence. When this happens, then, all of society, innocent and guilty, must pay the price. Let us therefore stop creating monsters at whose hands we will all have to suffer later. Let us rather join in solidarity to stamp out all violence against children, once and for all.
The Dominica Youth Business Trust, DYBT, observed Global Entrepreneurship Week from November 17th to 21st under the theme Get Connected. Global Entrepreneurship Week is an initiative of the Kaufman Foundation and Enterprise UK and is the world's largest celebration of innovators and job creators who launch startups that bring ideas to life, drive economic change, and expand human welfare. This year, DYBT partnered with Junior Achievement Dominica, 4-H Clubs, Y2Kubuli Entrepreneurs Levy, Dominica Manufacturers Association, and secondary and tertiary students to help create a lasting impression of Global Entrepreneurship Week 2014. Among last week's activities were a youth entrepreneurship symposium on entrepreneurship and agriculture, a 4-H club, choral speech and public speaking showcase, and a grand entrepreneurs exhibition. Here are a few clips of Thursday's exhibition. As activities to commemorate Early Childhood Month continue, the Rosa Preschool housed at the Rosa Primary hosted its Coconut exhibition on Monday. Annually, the Early Childhood Development Department chooses to highlight one local item this time of year during Family Focus Week. Friday 21st was set aside as Coconut Day for all preschools on the island. However, due to inclement weather, the Rosa Preschool joined in celebration today, still eager as ever to show off their products. In an exclusive interview with GIS News, Early Childhood Education Officer Vida George provided a brief overview.
As part of Early Childhood Development Month, there is always a week set aside as Family Focus Week. During that week, we observe Universal Children's Day. We also observe Father Focus Day, which coincides with International Men's Day. And the last day of the week, we have an exhibition made of something local. Last year, we looked at the breadfruit. This year, we are looking at the coconut. The whole objective of this is to really get our children from an early age to appreciate the number of things that we can do from what we have, what is local. And so the coconut, today's exhibition gives them an opportunity to see the different things that we can do out of just one coconut plant. Family Focus Week is always an exciting time. The children look forward to that. The parents also look forward to that because it's an opportunity to showcase their talents, and they come together. It brings parents together, not just children, but it also brings parents together. In the rural districts, it's easier for the parents to spend the day. We find in the urban area, the parents have to go to work, yes, which is rather unfortunate, but we understand that. But it's really a fun time, and it's really not just educational, but a time for sharing and bringing everybody together.
On display were items which are crafted by the children and their families.
Here we have all the edibles, what we can eat. So we have coconut cake, we have coconut sancoch, coconut cheese, coconut tablet, coconut pastries, and the coconut ice pops right here in the cooler. At the end of the exhibition, we are expecting that our children will enjoy it, will have fun eating it. And around, as you see, it's a coconut grove. Around, we have the real coconut, the dry coconut, the jelly, the coconut brooms, the coconut husk, and a number of different things that, we can make out of coconut.
George indicated that this exhibition was to highlight the integral role parents and guardians play in the early childhood development sector.
It's also an opportunity to get children and parents to do things together. It creates a difference in the learning environment. It's not the normal come to school ABC 1 to 3, but they are still very much learning something, very important for them, not just now, but later on in life. And really what will impact our economy tomorrow, because if they get to know that we can use these things rather than import things, then it's more beneficial to us as a nation.
In more news, on December 19, 1999, the 54th session of the United Nations General Assembly Resolution 54/134 declared November 25th every year as International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. GIS News spoke with Director of the Bureau of Gender Affairs, Rosie Brown, ahead of Tuesday's observance.
The United Nations General Assembly had declared this day as a result of suffering of women around the world, and in particular an incident of women having faced their death, and that was made of 3 sisters in one of the Latin American countries. I think the Dominican Republic, if I remember quite clearly, who were killed. And this triggered a lot of discussion of denouncing these issues, and as a result of that and previous concerns, mainly based on reports that would have come to the various bodies like the CEDAW, which is the CEDAW committee, that it was felt necessary to dedicate a day that was to denounce violence against women all over the world.
Brown revealed that the Bureau, in collaboration with various partners, have been observing International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women to raise awareness on not just violence against women, but overall gender-based violence.
Well, of course, as part of the UN, we recognize that day. But more so, at a national level, Dominica has its own concerns and issues of violence against women. And we have been, especially with the National Council of Women and other organizations, we have been meeting regularly every year to plan for this event, the observance. Anyway, it was, I must say it's about a few years now, around 23 years now, that the 16 Days of Activism was launched. And instead of saying violence against women, the emphasis has been on gender violence, because really, in terms of the literature and the discussion, what we are saying is that more women are on the receiving end of violence, and usually it is because they are women. So the focus is on especially the 25th, to focus on this issue about violence and how women are abused. Women and girls, especially children.
Brown gave details of activities planned for the 16 Days of Activism.
A number of other institutions will be having their activities that they are collaborating in a way with us. So there's things like the World AIDS Day that happening, which sometimes there was a greater collaboration before, but this year we will just be, it is not as tight as it was the last 2 years. As I said, there's not, yeah. So we'll have we'll be doing some panels and the various radio programs.
Violence against women and girls is a problem of pandemic proportions. According to UN Women, at least 1 in 3 women in the world have suffered from violence, usually by someone familiar. The executive director of the UN Women states, quote, "Together we must make 2015 the year that marks the beginning of the end of gender inequality. Now is the time for action." Financial education should really begin at preschool. This is according to Sherma John, local representative of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, as she speaks about initiatives taken by the ECCB to impart financial information to the younger ones. As part of ECCB Financial Information Month 2014, a primary school challenge was organized for 13 primary schools in the Roseau area. That is from Maho to Point Michel. John gives details.
We had 13 of our partners go to 13 primary schools around the Roseau area, from Maho to Point Michel, to mentor grade 4 class on a syllabus which was approved by the Ministry of Education but designed by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. For 4 weeks, these mentors went into the school. We did budgeting, savings, and a number of other topics not covered under the regular social studies syllabus. Today, we will have the challenge where 13 representatives from the primary school will represent one of the financial institutions and battle for first, second, third.
She says each of the representatives will receive bank accounts in 6 financial institutions with deposits of varying amounts.
The first, second, third, they will also receive trophies. Each of the participants will also get certificates. The amounts will vary. If you come at first, you're going to get at least $550 opened in your name, and you will go down that line until the people that do not place, they get at least $100 opened in their name. The important thing is that the whole class would have learned more about budgeting and savings. Then we have the opportunity given to those representatives to have an account in their name, which we're encouraging the parents to continue. So we are expecting that the parents will continue saving for the children in that account.
The competition was held at the University of the West Indies Open Campus on November 24th.
The competition will be held in 2 rounds. The first round, all 13 will participate. Each representative will have 3 questions, 3 compulsory questions, which they will dip. That will give us 39 questions. The other 26 questions will be a matter of who raised their hands first will get the opportunity to answer that question. If a child is unable to answer the question, that question will go to the next person. At the end of the first round, we're expected to select 8 representatives who will move on to the second round. The second round will take a similar format, select 3 questions, compulsory, and then we have buzzers for the second round, where the representative will buzz. The first slide to appear will get the opportunity to answer. If they're unable to answer, the question goes to another person. After the second round, we're expecting that we'll have 3 top places. If we do not, we have tiebreaker questions, which we will ask to select first, second, third.
John says it is imprudent to wait until students are adults to teach them how to manage their financial affairs. The ECCB is now advocating for younger ones to have the basic financial knowledge. She says although it is not part of school syllabuses, the ECCB has designed a syllabus to be taught in grades 4, 5, and 6 of schools adopted by the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, ECCU. The school adopted in Dominica is the Rosa Primary School. The competition, which was the first of its kind for the ECCB, was held under the theme Soar to Succeed. And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the career highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non moins, c'est McPherson St. Louis. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominique a gardé devant pour le programme traitement zé que Cuba assisté Dominicain, ça continue. Parole celle-là sorti au président Dominique, His Excellency Charles Sovereign, pendant qu'il était recevé ambassadeur Cuba pour Dominique, His Excellency Juan Carlos de la Rosa, semaine passée. Autant Dominicain recevé traitement zé pour cataracte, glaucoma, plusieurs voyages Cuba pour l'opération aux yeux, où là, ils ont payé pour bien payer l'argent aux pièces l'argent même. Président Savin aussi mentionné scholarship pour étudiants et étudiants en plusieurs aspects et puis traitement docteur spécialisé en affaires médecins, pédiatriques, oncologie et puis radiologie. Dominique a complimenté Cuba pour assistance à eux pour pays là. En notre nouvelle, Dominique est penché et puis Western la terre pour observer novembre 25, ça c'est demain, qu'on journée pour gommer au compte violence agenda. Parole sans la sortie du directeur bureau gender ici en Dominique, Madame Rosie Brown.
Tous les années, les 25 novembre, pour célébrer journée pour dénoncer violence qui est directed against women, femmes, violence femmes. Mais avec des 3 années qui passent nous, UN déclaré qu'on 16 days, c'est 16 jours pour ça, quitter public, quitter police, monde, quitter tout le monde connaître, qui fait tout le monde connaître qui tant ça là, nous n'y pour faire autant programme pour ça dénoncer toute quantité de gender violence. Et bien, c'est pour ça dans ça là aussi, il n'y a pas de différence. Nous, quand nous venons ensemble, je dis pas de différence, mais il n'y a pas de différence pour tous les autres années. Nous avons fait même bitin venir ensemble pour plan pour nous ça observer 16 jours ça là pour dénoncer la violence.
En notre nouvelle, East Caribbean Central Bank organisé compétition pour négliger l'école en Dominique, apprendre meilleur comment pour deal et puis faire l'argent. Parole celle-là sortie officier banque là en Dominique, Madame Schumer John.
Mon financial information, nous need 27 partners qui viennent à Sam Nani Sala pour des moun public code bite financial. Nous allons faire au Primary School Challenge. Ça c'est 13 l'école Primary School qui allait compéter pour qui moun qui allait venir premier, deuxième et troisième à la compétition. Ça nous te fait c'est nous tenir 13 moun partner nous yo te aller à la 13 l'école pour dire ces moun là hot grade 4 code saving, investing, managing l'argent. So jodi nous allons faire compétition là pour give you pour award you nous allons buy you account deposit as other financial institution. Nous allons faire à sous 4 banques là et des credit union là, national et central. So tout le monde, toutes ces affaires là, yo allez taper un compte à sous banque là, mais ça qui vient premier, deuxième et troisième, yo qui taper plus l'argent.
Finalement, le ministre Santé a informé le public là que Food and Drug Administration, l'Amérique FDA, a visé pour ne pas potuer ou bien consommer même un produit qui a sur la place là, produit qui n'est un bagage corticotestéroïde et puis antihistamine. Selon FDA, l'Amérique, drogue là bien dangereux et puis il s'empêche d'habiliter un monde qui a une infection, il peut la cautionner problème en tête aussi. Il faut cela, le public a avisé pour porter attention et puis prendre toutes les mesures nécessaires et puis arrêter la drogue là immédiatement si il y a un point. Les gens qui expérimentent ces difficultés, si il y a un servi de drogue là, si vous contacter Health Center immédiatement pour vous taper traitement. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour présent. Non, moi, c'est McPherson, c'est Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up, one drink guaranteed to help during pregnancy.
Dominica is blessed with an abundance of water, but getting it to your home is an expensive venture. You have a responsibility to conserve water, to use it wisely. Remember the old adage, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. Think water, think life.
During pregnancy, it is important for a woman to include healthy and nutritious food and drinks in her daily diet. Drinking coconut water while pregnant helps in maintaining the health of both mother and child. This tropical drink is rich in potassium, sugar, magnesium, and protein, which aid in the growth of the unborn baby, and also helps to reduce high blood pressure and constipation, common symptoms of pregnancy. With one single glass of coconut water, an exhausted or dehydrated mother-to-be can feel replenished in no time at all. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website, news.gov.dm. Like us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I'm Tasia Floissac. Thanks for watching.